Graham Motion, Dennis of Cork, Calvin Burrell, Cowboy Cal, John Velasquez, and now the call to the post, and then that special moment, the playing of my old Kentucky home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Yum! Brands, parent of KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Long John Silver's, and A&W Restaurants, is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Kentucky Derby. Based in Louisville, Kentucky, Yum! Brands is the world's largest restaurant company with over 3,500 restaurants in more than 100 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the management, staff, and horsemen of Churchill Downs proudly present the 134th running of the Kentucky Derby presented by Yum! Brands. Please rise for the playing of My Old Kentucky Home.
And the roar from the 150,000 or so. The horses have never witnessed anything like this in their young lives. But you made a comment, it was the best behaved field of horses in the paddock that you had seen at the Derby.
By far, all of them were just handling everything. So
in this race, this one off a third in the Illinois Derby. 12 is Smooth Air. The only other time 70-year-old Benny Stutz saw the Derby, he was standing on the hood of a car in 1950 in Louisville. That's the field of 20 set to contest a mile and a quarter in the 103rd.
A year ago, Calvin Burrell rode Street Sense to victory in the Kentucky Derby. Who will wind up in the winner's circle today? Will it be Big Brown, unbeaten but untested? For both his trainer and jockey, today is a chance for a new beginning. We know a bit more about Colonel John, but will the late closer be able to weave his way through a crowded field? And then there's 8 Bells. It's been 20 years since a filly won this race. Would today be her day? What about Smooth Air? Might a 70-year-old trainer make good in his first run for the Roses? Just a few of the questions as the 134th Kentucky Derby draws near.
And as soon as those questions have been answered, another will inevitably be posed. Does the winner of
that he can't handle it, Gary?
No, Donna, he's a good filling horse. He came out on the racetrack on his toes for the Santa Anita Derby as well. And to me,
a look at Colonel John. Here's Kent DeSormo's family, his wife Sonia, his sons Josh and Jacob. Watching, we saw the feature earlier on DeSormo and his family. There it is, and Colonel John continues, as you mentioned, on his toes. Let me ask my two former jockeys here about the wind. There's a pretty stiff headwind in the stretch, and they'll run through that stretch twice in this mile and a quarter race.
Yeah, and the speed horses are going to be at a disadvantage because of that. There's drafting that's going to go on the same way as there is in NASCAR, and it's going to cause them to, to take some energy out of them early on.
So the horse is beginning to load into the gate. That on the right is the auxiliary gate for the outside post positions. A look there at Big Truck, trained by Barclay Tagg of Funny Side fame, into the starting gate with jockey Javier Castellano. The 15 there is Adriano and Edgar Prado. 17 Cowboy Cal, expected to be one of the early leaders.
Hey, tell him we go.
Pyro goes in, Sean Bridge-Mahan. And the horses continue to load for the Kentucky Derby, the 134th edition of the Run for the Roses. And here to call the race is Tom Durkin.
There goes Gallego in post position number 19, and there's the favorite with only 3 starts. Going into that Kentucky Derby starting gate, Big Brown. He'll have to beat some inexperience and 19 3-year-olds who is inside. They're in the gate. And they're off. Is 8th on the rail. Monbo 9th on the far outside. Big Truck is running in 10th. Court Vision is 11th. Sea Humor is 12th. Adriano is 13th. Anak Nakal is 14th. And then it's Smooth Air, 15th on the far outside. Colonel John is 16th early on. Pyro is 17th. Then a break of another 3.5. Back to Visionaire. And Dennis of Cork is the last of 20. 47 seconds flat for the opening half mile in this Derby by Bob Blackjack. On the outside, Cowboy Cal pressing this strong pace here. 47 for the opening half mile with a half mile to go. Then farther back in the field, Recapture the Glory, 3rd on the outside. And the fillies right there and with the fighting chance. 8 Bell Sheet Fort. And there goes Big Brown. Big Brown on the far outside. He's catapulting past horses. One by one now. He was 5th just a moment ago. And now he's 2nd as they come toward the top of the stretch. Tail of a Cotty is also right there. And then Colonel John comes on the scene late as the field turns for home at the top of the stretch. And it is Big Brown who rolls open now to a 3-length lead. 8 Bells is 2nd, Recapture the Glory is 3rd, Tail of a Cotty is 4th, and the final furlong of the Kentucky Derby. And it's going to be Big Brown bounding home to a convincing win in the Run for the Roses. It is Big Brown by 5 on the wire. The filly 8 Bells was 2nd. Dennis of Cork came from 20th to be 3rd under the line. And Tail of the Cotty was 4th. There's the Derby winner, Big Brown, and he delivered today.
But what did Bob Newmeyer say earlier about Rick Dutrow in the home? And Rick Dutrow was confident, super confident. Some said disdainfully confident. Well, it looks like he's the real deal.
He's the real deal, and he did exactly what Kent DeSormo and Rick Dutrow said he would be capable of doing. They look very smart right now at the lead, and there he's still a fresh horse. Kent DeSormo just came off there, and Outriders got a hold of him. He landed on his feet.
3rd Kentucky Derby win, the first for trainer Rick Dutrow. Let's go to Donna next to Kent DeSormo.
Kent, first of all, congratulations.
Dutrow, Rick, what does this mean to you?
Everything. It's just, I can't describe the feeling that all of us have right now. It's just an unbelievable feeling. I can't explain it, Bob.
10 years ago when you were down and out, and you were sleeping on some stall at Aqueduct, is there one person or one moment that puts you on the straight and narrow to where you are today?
I think a whole lot of people helped me. I don't have enough time to name them all, but I swear to God.
Thanks, Tom. Dr. Bramlage right now, just as we're getting ready to talk, he was getting a preliminary report. He's getting more information right
side 8 Bells.
You know, my experience over the years riding, I've had horses that did collapse after a race, and most of...
Hey, Donna, thank you. Dr. Bramlage, you've just gotten off the phone talking to the other veterinarians. What is the report on 8 Bells?
Unfortunately, she broke both front ankles and collapsed, lost support to both of them, and so they immediately euthanized her because there was no possible way to save her, and that's an injury that's painful, so they just euthanized her immediately.
All right, doctor, it's never a good time to be here, I know, in these situations.
No, it's a bad injury on both front legs.
All right, Dr. Bramlage, thank you for your time.
Joy with Kent DeSormo, Rick Dutrow with Big Brown. His daughter Molly, remember the story, traumatic life she has had. Kent DeSormo's wife Sonia. And the
move going into the far turn. Kent DeSormo starts riding this horse pretty vigorously at this point right now. They're about 3/8 of a mile out, and the response wasn't instant.
Big Brown wins the Kentucky Derby, and when we come back to Churchill Downs,